Hello and welcome to Channel Sport this morning. It's great to have you join us again. I am Tayo Salam. This is what the show looks like. We're starting off with the Super Falcons of Nigeria. They have regrouped for the Africa Women's Nations Cup qualifiers against the Black Queens of Ghana. Also on the program, this time around, the NBA, the 75th season of the NBA is going to tip off tonight with blockbuster games involving the Golden State Warriors, the Brooklyn Nets, the LA Lakers, as well as the Milwaukee Bucks. Also in sport this morning, we're going to be catching up with Africa's #1 table tennis player, Aruna Quadri, right here in our studios from Lagos, Nigeria. There's a lot to come on the show later on, but right now it's my pleasure to introduce and welcome Aruna Quadri, world number 16, Africa's best table tennis player. Quadri, good morning. It's great to have you on Channel Sports this morning.
Good morning.
Indeed.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Right.
Good morning, viewers at home. I'm very happy and excited to be here.
Indeed.
And, looking forward to share my experience here.
Of course, so we're all excited to have you in our studios. First time, second time? Been here before, surely?
Second time.
Second time. Okay, but it's been a while, though.
Yes.
Indeed, so it's great to have you back. I mean, you're the man when it comes to table tennis in Africa and in the world by extension, so we're glad to have you in the studios. First of all, let's start by congratulating you on the success of the maiden edition of the Aruna Quadri Cadet Championship.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, tell us about that. The experience and all
the
of it.
objectives has always been to give back to the society,
right,
and help the country to discover as many talent as possible. And that is what we are actually trying to do. You know, in the beginning, it's not going to be very easy, but of course, as time goes on, we'll be able to achieve our objectives. And we are not going to be doing this in Lagos alone.
Okay.
We'll try as much as possible to do in other parts of the country.
Right. That's fantastic. It's good to know that Lagos will not be the only beneficiaries for this fantastic gesture from you. But from what you saw over the weekend, in terms of talent, can you rate some of these players and just, you know, see where you think they're going to end up in future in terms of playing the sport?
I was very happy with the level of play 2 days ago. Of course, we did not play with the best. Some of them were in the school games in Quara.
Yeah.
But of course, with what we have seen 2 days ago, it means the country has a lot of talent.
Indeed.
And if we are able to stage this kind of tournament regularly, we'll be able to even discover more talent. So in the next edition, we are looking forward to feature some of the best ones among them.
Indeed.
But of course, we'll give opportunity to as many as possible.
That's fantastic to know. I love the big talents in Quara for the National Youth Games. Unfortunately, they had to miss out on that one. But surely for the second edition, we should be looking forward to seeing some of those guys and girls participate in the competition.
Yes, I strongly believe. Also, starting from January 2022, we are looking forward to start league.
I was going to go into that next.
And,
okay.
That will be like monthly event. It means we'll keep almost all of them very busy and active. And true that, you know, in Europe we play almost every weekend, but we can't do that here now. We can actually start like monthly so that we can keep them busy. And through this, we'll be able to discover as many talent as possible. We know we have a lot of them, but we have to give them chances so that they can actually prove themselves. Yeah. And there is no doubt we have a lot of them. Yeah. And that is one of the objectives.
Indeed. I mean, what's talent when they don't have the opportunity and the platform to show and exhibit their skills? It's a fantastic gesture. That league in particular, you have a lot of talented home-based players that don't have the opportunity to play in the Bundesligas of this world and the leagues in Europe and Americas and China. But once this particular league starts, fantastic opportunity for them to play tennis, table tennis year-round. And that can only help their improvements in terms of their skill sets.
Also, if everything goes very well, we are looking forward to stage some kind of training camps in different parts of the country.
Wow.
If everything goes very well, so that, you know, you can't just be doing tournaments for them. You have to practice with them.
Yeah.
Talk with many of them.
True.
So that they can actually have that belief that everything is very possible.
Right.
With hard work.
Right.
So we want to do training camps as well so that we can impact the knowledge into some of them so that while playing tournaments, we can actually see the best in them.
Indeed. That's fantastic. So they're not only going to be playing at the table tennis, they're also going to be training them as well to become the best that they can become. We saw pictures earlier of you. I don't know if you can take us through those pictures, some of the things you've been up to since you've been in Nigeria.
Like I said 2 days ago.
Yeah, apart from that one, apart from the cadet championships, you've been to other places.
Yesterday I was with Oyo State Governor.
Right. What's that about?
Yesterday was like one of the happiest days of my life.
I've been
trying since 8 years to meet any governor from my hometown.
Wow.
And I was so happy and excited yesterday that Sheyi Makinde gave me that opportunity for free. You know, I have tried a lot, you know.
Wow.
What we discussed was the best way to improve the lives of the youth in Oyo State.
Okay.
Something like doing training camps. You know, we have a lot of talent on the street. We have in schools. Some of them in schools they are still doubting if they can be able to combine sport and education together. And I'm a very good example. I was able to combine sport and education together.
Indeed.
After finishing my primary and secondary school here in Nigeria, I got opportunity to be professional in Portugal, and 2 years after, I managed to continue in an online school in America, Atlantic International University of America. So these are some of the experiences I want to share with them. I started playing when I was 7 years old on the street, and it was like from nowhere, you know. And years after, the things actually changed for me positively. So I also want to share with them that it doesn't matter where you come from.
Right.
Everything is possible with belief and hard work.
Indeed.
Know? So I want to share as many experience with them as possible so that they can actually believe. And in the end, we'll bring all of them to training camp, probably for 4 days. And also 4 days tournament, you know, to assess their level of
the skill
talent.
level.
Yes.
Yeah.
So everything is actually possible. And also this kind of training camps will bring modern equipment to the state.
Right.
And in the end, some of this equipment can be shared into different zonal sport council of the state. And with this, it means more youth will be engaged in playing table tennis. You know, some of them are just walking on the street. They have no direction. They don't know where they are doing.
Yeah.
And through this also, we can actually reduce the crime rate. So these are some of the things we discussed. And the governor has actually promised that they will do everything in their capacity to support us so that we can achieve this dream.
Awesome. I mean, it's safe to say that the importance of sport cannot be overemphasized. So many importance, so many benefits mentally and physically and psychologically. So I like the fact that you know that already and you're ready to give opportunities to some of these kids that are very talented. And from everything you've said now, it looks like the second edition of the Aruna Quadri Cadet Championships might just be going down in Oyo State.
It is very possible. But before then, there is big possibility of doing a training camp
and
tournament for the junior and cadet in Oyo State.
Indeed.
And with this, it's going to be something very big. You know, this was something very small. We did something very small 2 days ago, and I'm looking forward to do like a very big thing in Oyo State. You know, something that will change the lives of many youths in Oyo State.
Awesome.
You know, something that will bring hope to as many youth as possible in Oyo State. You know, something that will change their life positively in terms of sport. You know, we want to bring them into sport so that they can actually have like the best feeling. You know, sport can give them as many opportunities as possible.
So many.
Someone like me wouldn't be able to meet the governor for your state if
you're in a table
I'm not a sportman.
Yeah.
So, you know, it gives you opportunity. You can just be anything through sport.
I totally agree. I think a lot of people totally agree as well too. Seeing that once in a lifetime opportunity for you meeting the governor of your state. Like you said, you've been trying for 8 years. Finally, you get to meet the #1 citizen of your state. I find that a bit strange in the first place, but it is what it is. Let me ask you quickly, when you were coming up as a player compared to now, would you say who's found it easier, you know, coming up through the ranks when you're coming up and what these kids are facing nowadays? Which one was harder? Which one was smoother for you?
I think it was almost the same thing.
I
remember very well. It was very difficult to get money to buy equipment, you know. but somehow we were always managing and managing. I was never buoyant to buy new equipment, so we always buy like used ones. And sometimes, if we were lucky, we always get from the professionals.
Okay.
You know, I always remember those days, and that is one of the reasons I've been supporting as many youth as possible. You know, we don't just do in Lagos or Oyo. We have been supporting kids from different parts of the country, even from the north. You know, give them equipment to play, and those opportunities were not given to me when I was growing up as a cadet player. So I struggled a lot. But when I came to Lagos, I had better opportunities. People like Waid Enito, they supported me a lot. On several occasions, he gave equipment to us. But of course, from the beginning, it was very difficult. So through my sports shop, I really want to support as many kids as possible. We have Taiwo Mati.
Taiwo, great prospect.
From Ondo State.
Yeah,
we have,
Taiwo.
Some of them from Oyo State. We have a lot here in Lagos. We supported also from the north, from Abuja. You know, these are the things we really want to do. It is very important for me to give back to the society. Yeah. And this is one of the best. This is one of the best ways to show my my appreciation to the country. Yeah. Who has been giving me opportunity to represent them. You know. So I want to give back to the society as well.
Thank you on behalf of these kids. I believe they truly appreciate all of your efforts in terms of donating equipment and table tennis bats and the balls and the kids overall in general. I mean, because they can't improve when they don't have this equipment to play. So it's very fundamental. Thank you on behalf of the kids as well too. All right, so let's go on and leave the kids for now, and let's talk about the big deal. Let's talk about the Olympics. We're going to reflect on. I like that smile. We're going to reflect on Nigeria's performance, of course, the table tennis players, and your own performance as well. So, of course, you went to Tokyo, a lot of expectations. In Rio 2016, you were the man. You absolutely stunned everyone on the way to reaching the quarterfinals. It's never been done before. And a lot of people were expecting big-time things from you this time around, perhaps a semi-final spot, but it didn't pan out that way. What went down, Quadri?
You know, Olympics has gone, and for me, it was a very bad one. But these are the things that happen in sport, you know. It is not always about winning. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
True.
I actually prepared very well. I was in different parts of European countries to prepare, but things didn't just go the way we want. But of course, there is always another opportunity to do better.
Of course.
So it was a very bad outing when compared to Rio Olympic Games. Rio was like the biggest performance from me. But of course,
many African.
In Tokyo, I was even expecting a step higher, you know. But it was not meant to be. But of course, it was not the end of life. We continue already to play in different tournaments. And of course, if God really wants, there is another Olympic Games and things can actually get better. But for me, it was a very bad one, but it is not the end of life. No. We continue to work hard.
Of course, of course. I like your philosophical outlook of things that went down in Tokyo. But then going forward, it's important to, to recognize the issues that perhaps caused you not to play at your best. So what were some of these things that you'd say were stumbling blocks on your way to giving your best in Tokyo? Come on, man.
Just like I said earlier.
Come on, we had stories, man. We had all sorts. This is an avenue for you to...
has gone. And,
come and gone, right?
Yes, we really need to forget about the past and think about the future. Just like I said, many tournaments are still coming. You know? Like I said, it was a very bad one. But we just have to concentrate on the future. You know, nobody's right all the time. And we will never be perfect all the time. But it has come and gone. But of course, there is opportunity in future to correct some of those mistakes and do better. So that is what is really important to me now.
You don't want to dwell on the past.
I really don't want to be thinking about the Tokyo Games. It has gone. And
so I'll take it as that you know the issues that you faced and all of that going forward. Hopefully, they're no longer there. It doesn't become a stumbling block on your way to playing very well in future events. Should we leave it at that, right?
Yes, of course.
Fantastic. So that's for the Olympics. I understand where all of this is coming from. It's all good. We need to move on. Like I said, can't dwell on the past for too long. Let's talk about the African Championships as well, too. What a tournament it was, and we're all looking forward to. Yeah, Quadri didn't do too well at the Tokyo game. It's going to come to Africa and reclaim that title. That did not pan out as well.
In African Championships, I did almost everything, you know, to bring back the title. But it was not meant to be. Few days before the African Championships, we played almost 3 Bundesliga matches in Germany.
Wow.
And I was really tired. I arrived so late, if you could remember very well. It started already 2 days before I arrived. And I arrived, I went straight to the table like 3 hours after. So it was very difficult. But the following day, I was able to manage.
Yes,
of course, in the team event, I was able to help the team a lot. I won 2 matches. But of course, it was not meant to be for us. We gave almost everything. In singles, you know, I have overused myself. It was very difficult. Already in semi-final, I was already injured. And in final, it was very difficult against you know, the main rival in Africa. But of course, before final, I was facing a lot of difficulties.
Soft opponents.
It was very difficult. Also almost from the first round. So I was really tired. But of course, that is one of those things in sport. So there was not enough room to recover very well. But of course, there is another opportunity to do much more better.
Of course.
And the biggest objective is just to take back the title from the Egypt, you know, in team and every other event as well. But of course, in Cameroon, we did our best, but it can always get better. So we will do better next time.
Indeed, we're looking forward to seeing what you guys have to offer in the next edition of the African Table Tennis Championships. Of course, there's you, there's Bode Abiodun, there's Olajide Omotayo as well, too, who absolutely adores you and everything you've done for his career. That's it's good to see that indeed. You mentioned the Bundesliga earlier as well. To tell us about that experience of playing professional table tennis in Germany compared to when you were in Portugal.
I played already 11 years in Portugal.
Yeah.
The level is not the same.
Okay.
You know, in French league, I played also for 2 years. But I think Bundesliga is just the biggest of all.
Okay.
Every matches are like a 50 to 50 chance of winning. You know, it's always very, very difficult. So I am finding it very difficult to play in Bundesliga.
Wow.
In the first season, I had like 15 wins and 10 defeats.
Oops.
But presently, it's a little bit going very well. I have 7 wins and 2 defeats. We have a better team this time around.
Okay.
We're in top 4, and the playoff is very, very possible. But of course, Bundesliga league is the strongest in Europe.
Definitely.
But of course, I'm also fulfilled to be playing in Bundesliga.
Of course.
French used to be very, very strong as well, and I played in French league before, and now Bundesliga. Hopefully, I'm going to be retiring in Bundesliga. So for me, I'm enjoying myself there. You know, there is pressure all the time. It's always difficult, but this is really what I want.
Indeed. You want to play with the best players.
Yes.
Yes, and that's a clear progression from Portugal to France and now to Germany, where you're playing with the absolute best table tennis player, Quadri. I wish we could continue this conversation forever, but this is where we're going to have to just put a stop to it for now. Hopefully, we can get you in the studios maybe before you leave the country again, or whenever you have anything, important for the kids and everything. Your last word, especially for those kids out there that see how you've made a career out of playing table tennis. Your last word for them.
I want to say thanks to all of them, you know, for coming. It was also an opportunity for me to see all of them. I didn't know all of them before. So I want to thank them for honoring the invitation. You know, if some of them said, no, we don't want to play, there is nothing I can actually do. So I want to say thanks to all of them. And I believe we will have better things to do in future. More tournaments are coming to keep them busy and busy. And of course, they are all champions.
Indeed.
And of course, we put smile on almost all of their faces. So next time, we really want to do better. And I'm looking forward to seeing them next time. They should keep working harder and harder. Yeah,
they should keep working harder and harder. That's the message coming from Africa's #1 table tennis player and world number 16. No African has ever risen to that level when it comes to the ITF world rankings. Also the only African player to get to the quarterfinals of the Olympics. You're welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. Dami has now joined us. Dami Unifadi. Dami, always great to have you on the show.
Yeah, pleasure to be back here. Good morning.
Indeed, indeed. You're coming back on a day where we had the #1 table tennis player in Africa, Aruna Quadri. I believe you had the opportunity to see him outside, right?
Yes, and I love the fact that he wanted to move on from the disappointment of the Olympics really,
right, for obvious reasons.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good one. You don't hold on to the past too much, especially when the past is not a palatable story to tell.
True.
I think really he has moved on, and we could see that. And I mean, after the Olympics, he went to the African Championship. Even though he didn't win the title,
to the
it
final.
was a better performance
Yeah.
compared to the experience at the Olympics. And kudos to him, really.
Indeed. Kudos to Aruna Quadri. Let's get on with the show now. Let's go to the basketball court. Like I said at the start, is the 75th season of the NBA. It's going to tip off tonight with some blockbuster games. 2 games, as a matter of fact, involving the Los Angeles Lakers taking on the Golden State Warriors, as well as the Milwaukee Bucks, defending champions, taking on the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, they don't come much bigger than that in terms of matchups when it comes to the NBA. First of all, let's focus on the Lakers and the Warriors. Contrasting preseason for both teams. The Warriors, 5-0. The Lakers, 6. They lost 6. Let me put it that way. So 0-6. That's more like it. So it's contrasting fortunes. Steph Curry looks in mid-season form already. Dropped 41 in the last preseason game. It looks good. The Warriors looking great. On the other side, the Lakers are coming in with this massive expectations, championship aspirations. But there's so many concerns right now concerning that team. Of course, a lot of it has been said about their age already. Then there's the issue of how is LeBron James and Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook, are they going to play together with just one ball?
Yeah, of course, you can't have 2 balls.
Really. And those guys love to handle the ball.
The balls. But for me, I think for the Lakers, I think the Warriors didn't start this preseason. I think it started from last season.
Yes,
they disappointed last season.
In the playoffs as well.
In the playoffs. The way they ended was not what many I expected.
Yep.
And so I think it's still the same issue still running through the team. The age is a factor. The balance, which you refer to as for the 3 superstars playing together, is also another factor. And apparently, judging up to this point as we speak, they seem not to have been able to resolve those issues.
That's what it looks like.
Maybe they will find a solution to the balance, but the age is a factor. You can't bring back the age of these guys. And I think, again, LeBron has a point to prove. Many are asking, can he still deliver at the highest level? But I think you don't just become, I cannot just suddenly become a bad player
overnight.
And I think for LeBron's level. But again, in basketball, no matter how good your superstar is, the support cast must complement.
Exactly.
And I think that's where I see them struggling. The same problem with Warriors. After their title-winning season, you discover that when Steph Curry is injured or is not in the top shape, the team seems to just fizzle out and lose games unnecessarily. So I think, like you said, constructive photos coming into the season, but then the season is still a long one.
Of course.
And it promises to be a very interesting season. I think there will be ups and downs here and there. There is also the story of the Brooklyn Nets. We discussed that career.
We'll get to the Brooklyn Nets later on.
So there is so much to look forward to this season. For me, as a neutral, I just want to enjoy it. I used to support the Lakers, but after Kobe, I'm just a neutral now. I just want to enjoy
chilling. Perhaps you pull up supporting the Brooklyn next. Who knows? Anyways, let's get pre-match thoughts. First of all, starting with the coach of the Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr. King James and the Lakers will be looking to start the season on a winning note when they take on the Golden State Warriors later tonight. It's going to be just past midnight when that game tips off. Before I leave the Lakers quickly, I just wonder why you worried about the supporting cast of the Lakers, because when you have names like Carmelo Anthony coming off the bench, Rajon Rondo coming off the bench, who's there, Dwight Howard, Kendrick Nunn, so many good veteran players on that bench. What's your worry?
You said the key thing, veteran players that didn't deliver last season. That's what I'm worried. Veteran players, but they didn't deliver last season.
Okay.
They didn't, and that's it. So they have a point to prove. They have to prove to someone like me that they can still play at the highest level, particularly deliver as individuals and at the same time play together as a team. Because at the end of the day, basketball is a team sport.
Indeed.
It's a team sport. And when the superstar is flying, he must be sure that when he's floundering, people are carrying the weight on his behalf. And that's important for the Lakers to have a very good season. By the way, this opening match is actually a potential NBA final. And that's a game to look forward to.
Oh, indeed. All right, we'll see about that. The GMs have chosen the Brooklyn Nets to go all the way to win the championship. But fingers crossed. But for the Western Conference, there's still so many good sides there. You're talking about the Lakers and Warriors probably going on to meet in the finals. But there's also the Clippers. Let's not forget the Clippers. Who's there in the West again? A lot of strong sides in the West. The Spurs are trying to make a comeback. You know, it's a new era for them, pretty much. They'll be looking, let's not forget the Dallas Mavericks as well, too. We look at Doncic. They want to go one step further as well, too. So, but fingers crossed, we'll see. Stick with us and channel out sports this morning for all of the details concerning the NBA opening night, confirmation of the fixtures for you, the Brooklyn Nets and the Milwaukee Bucks, and then Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Lakers. All right, so that's it for the NBA for now. Let's move on the show quickly, and let's give you updates coming up from the sports ministry, where a caretaker committee headed by former President Francis Obi has been sworn in to administer the affairs of the Badminton Federation of Nigeria after a court case on the eve of the election. With badminton in the country grounded to a halt, the Federal Ministry of Sport opted to set up a caretaker committee. Other members of the committee are Maina Mohammed, Sholaja Bigeli, Yusuf Bello, Shew Wara, Felix Awala, Tunde Kazim, George Chita, Etsuku Tenumu, Esther Gidado, Malik Anas, Yahya Yusuf, and Grace Gabriel. The chairman of the committee always says that setting up was a good development as it would attempt to redeem the lost ground occasioned by the lingering crisis. Badminton is not one of the sports that were expected to be having issues with, but unfortunately it's turned out to be. So I'll take your thoughts after we listen to the president.
Well, I see it as a very positive development for the growth of the game. I believe strongly that anybody who is interested in the genuine growth and development of badminton in Nigeria would very much welcome this development, which has been taken by the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development in the best interest of the game. So, I mean, on that note, I want to really appreciate the Honorable Minister and the PAMSEC and the staff of the ministry for this very good decision that they have taken. We had a calendar in the past board, and we are going to study it, look at it, and see which ones we can continue with, and which ones are possible for us to run before the end of the year. But I can also tell you that immediately after the inauguration, we had a very brief inaugural meeting of the board, and we took a decision to start planning solidly for next year. So very soon we'll be rolling out a calendar for next year, which we are going to pursue very vigorously to make sure that we are able to achieve as much as possible in that calendar. So for activities for the remainder of the year, we are going to see what we can do. Unfortunately, I must say that because of the lingering issue, we had to withdraw from Uganda, All Africa Seniors, that starts this week, and that's going to negatively affect our players in their world ranking and all that. And then the Lagos International, the 6th edition was meant to hold early next month. That also had to be cancelled because of these issues on ground. So we are hoping that everything will be resolved very shortly so that we don't suffer any more damage and setback.
That's the administrator for the Badminton Federation of Nigeria. Francis Obi also happens to be the former president of the federation. Dami, quickly, your thoughts on everything is said and the fact that badminton is even in this situation in the first place.
Quite shocking, really, because if you are looking for those sport federations that will probably be having this sort of crisis leading up to an election, badminton is probably not one of those sports. But then it is what it is.
Yep.
It shows that interest in the sport is growing. And one must have to admit that under the last board, a lot of good moves were made.
True.
But then again, with what happened yesterday, you also have to ask the question, the optics of it. Because if the head of the former board, the president, that's Francis Obi, is also the caretaker committee, and there is a pending litigation.
Okay.
I don't know. One probably do not have certain details that informed that decision. So it's neither here nor there. It's not something that you could take a right or wrong position on.
True.
But then it's important that we must send the right message out, because if the contention is against his running or of his board, of how they manage the affairs of the Federation over the last 4 years, then I think there is something fundamentally not right. Let me use the, permit me, to still have him or anybody in that board in this present setup of caretaker committee. That for me, it's a little worry, because you also do not want a situation where demands are made of certain records from the last 4 years, and the people in charge are people that have something to do with that term or that period. So, but hopefully, this will not be a case of AFN or boxing that has lingered for so long. Exactly. That we can resolve this as soon as possible.
Want a quick resolution. That's the message coming from all of us in the studios this morning. Let's leave the drama and let's talk about the Falcons of Nigeria. They're back, hopefully, for the better. They're regrouping for the AFCON qualifiers against the Black Queens of Ghana. Alas, the memories of the Falcons, this is not the greatest. They were absolutely thrashed by the Bafana of South Africa in the Aisha Buhari Invitational Tournament. But now it's against the Black Stars. They're regrouping, and they're all very confident. They seem to believe that they can get the job done against Ghana. Indeed. Before I get your thoughts on that one, let's hear the coach of the team, Randy Waldron, speak about these games.
Now, most of our players played either yesterday or Saturday and then traveled. So today was just really a light recovery session to get, to get the legs flushed out so we can get a good session in the morning. We have a lot of respect for Ghana. They played well, I thought, in the tournament. They clearly have some dangerous players, and it should be a great match. But I'm really confident with our team. We're still missing 1 or 2 players I would have liked to have had in, and due to some paperwork at FIFA and so forth. But I think we've got, for the first time, the majority of the players in that we would want to have here, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2. So, we won't be able to use that as an excuse. We've got to go out and put a good performance in here at home.
No excuses are coming from Randy Waldron. They've got to get the job done, especially at home. And, I mean, it's non-negotiable. They've got to get a very convincing win before they go to Accra.
They must. It's a must. They have no choice. But the truth is, I have my fears. If there's any comfort I have for the Super Falcons going into this particular game, would be the fact that Ghana has didn't set any light at the AB. That's probably the only hope I have. At least we got to the final. They didn't even went that far. So for some time, the Super Falcons have not been as exciting as we used to know them for some time. And for good reason. We seem to have stalled in terms of our development of women football in this country. I think the slight edge we probably will enjoy against certain opponents is the exposure our players now have. And that's why the moment we meet proper African teams now, not even European or South American, the proper African teams, with the same level of exposure,
the ones that
better planning at home, like the South Africans, we will always struggle. Even if we win, it probably will be on the edge of our talent or ability, not necessarily because we're doing better overall than those countries. And that's where my fear is. Others have caught up because we have stopped moving. I still do not think there is any African country with better women footballers on this continent than Nigeria.
No.
But talent is not enough all the time.
Nope.
Sometimes you need better structures. You need intentional development plan and better strategy. And as well, better coaching. Because, again, we look down on our league and the development cadre for our footballers. What's the qualification of coaches training our young stars? What are they learning at that level? By the time you get to the Super Falcons level, it's more about managing the talent and giving them the approach to the game, not necessarily teaching them. I mean, you can't come to Super Falcons camp and you expect Waldron to teach you how to trap the ball or how to properly head the ball. That's not his job.
Strike the ball.
How to strike the ball. So I have my fears. And I think this first leg will determine a lot of things. And to put it in purpose perspective, so that those watching will understand why my fear is so high, is the fact that if we don't get through this stage, we are not going to the AFCON. If we don't go to the AFCON for the first time, we'll miss out of the next World Cup.
Wow.
That's the danger ahead of us.
Yeah. It looks a very tough proposition for Nigeria, but the Falcons, they've been there, they've done it. They seem very confident ahead of the match against Ghana. Hopefully they can get the win before they go into the second leg as well. So it's a bit of a shame that these two teams have to meet at this stage, but that's CAF's decision to make, and it's been made. Got to move on with it. All right, so that's it for the Falcons. Let's move on with the show and quickly tell you about the game that was played last night in the English Premier League. Arsenal welcoming welcoming Patrick Vieira back, not to Highbury now, back to the Emirates. Absolute legend of the club, brought Crystal Palace, and for long periods it looked like they were going to take all 3 points until Alexander Lacazette popped up without equalizing.
Now, the difference last night is just because Arsenal probably had better players. Overall, they don't deserve anything from that game. I think they played well in the first few minutes before the Aubameyang goal. Immediately scored. It was all about Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace was even wasteful. They should have taken the lead in the first half.
Should have been out of sight.
I think Vieira seems to be doing a good job, even though the result might not really show it because they don't have so many wins on their table yet.
Exactly. I think they've been lucky.
But then they are
playing
playing better football than last season.
Indeed.
But then how long that will last if the result does not come?
Yeah, that's another matter entirely. Exactly. Let's just hold it right there and go for our final break. When we come back, I'll let Dami conclude his thoughts on the work Patrick Vieira is doing at Crystal Palace. We'll also be doing a comprehensive preview of the UEFA Champions League for Match Day 3. Join us again. Welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. Time to take a look at the fixtures for today in the UEFA Champions League Match Day 3, starting with Group A. Man City will be looking to bounce back from their away loss to PSG when they take on Club Brugge. There's also PSG. They'll be in action against RB Leipzig. In Group B, is Atletico Madrid versus Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp has had some very interesting things to say about Diego Simeone and his style of play. There's also AC Milan taking FC Porto, while in Group C, Besiktas will host Sporting Lisbon, while Ajax Amsterdam and Borussia Dortmund will face off in the Netherlands. In Group D is Inter Milan versus FC Sheriff and Shakhtar Donetsk versus Real Madrid. I've got a smile on my face because I still cannot get over that incredible victory for FC Sheriff in Madrid a couple of weeks ago.
I'm sure the Madrid players can't wait for the return leg. Just put them back where they belong.
Yeah. But against Inter, well, actually it's on panning now because they'll be very confident that if they can beat Real Madrid, I know football is not mathematics, they can also go to the San Siro and perhaps stun Inter.
Of course, if you're in their shoes, you'll have that belief.
Yes.
And particularly Inter, yes, Inter is probably doing enough to still be there in the Serie A, but definitely not as good as they were last season. True. Without Conte, without Lukaku. And I think they're even struggling to get the goals regularly because, of course, what's his name now, the Bosnian, is not the same as Lukaku. Dzeko is not the same player compared to Lukaku. So I think Sheriff will go into this game with a lot of confidence, with a lot of belief that they can get something from this game. The other interesting fixture for me is Atletico Madrid against Liverpool.
Let's talk about that.
I would have said that if it's on a good day, you will think that if there is anything that can stop Liverpool, it should be Atletico Madrid. But then in the Champions League, Atletico seems to have disappointed occasionally when you expect so much from them. A few seasons ago, I think they lost against Chelsea when you expected that they would have defeated Chelsea. And so Atletico is a team that I usually like to take their games one match at a time because you never know the Atletico you will see on match day. But if there is a team that has the ability and the talent and the approach that can stop the the whole firing Liverpool front line.
Yeah.
It's probably this Atletico team.
Indeed.
Club Brugge is also a team that will take a lot of confidence.
Yeah, before you go to Club Brugge, quickly, still on Liverpool and Atletico Madrid, there is the Luis Suarez angle as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, taking on his former side. There should be, I bet he's champing at the beat to score a couple of goals against the Reds later tonight.
I wouldn't bet against it. I mean, if he can score against Barcelona, he can score against Liverpool.
And celebrate.
And celebrate. That's the key thing, because most players will not celebrate. But again, the way he left Barcelona means that he
had to rub it in.
There is no love, really. He has to rub it in.
Okay.
And I would have been disappointed if he didn't celebrate.
Indeed.
I actually wanted him to celebrate, and he did. So I wouldn't bet against him. And again, the Liverpool players then are not the ones he played against. Although it's still the same institution, the same club. So in terms of having his number, probably being able to stop him, that might also not be an advantage for Liverpool this time.
Exactly.
I think if Atletico can stop the three players up front.
Exactly.
And when I say three, they're actually four, but three can play at a time. Because Jota will give you a different dimension to Firmino.
Indeed.
But he's also a potent scorer.
Yep.
Firmino might not be the player you look forward to for the goals, but he's a lot more trickish and contributes more to how the team wants to play.
Scored a hat-trick over the weekend as well.
So I think he also wants to score. He knows that if he's not playing, it's probably because he's not scoring enough. And so he's also looking out to score now. And I think he has to. You can't be the number 9 and be a non-scoring number 9.
Can't be a non-scoring number 9.
That's a ridiculous thing in football. So if Atletico can stop those three, I think they can do something tonight. All
right, so let's go over to Group A, Man City versus Club Brugge, where you were going to talk about the Belgian side being very tricky, right?
Yeah, they are, and they would draw a lot of confidence from their game against PSG as well. Don't forget, when they played PSG, they were nowhere near getting even a draw in that game, particularly with the Messi, Mbappe's, and they survived. And
they got the draw.
And they survived. So I don't think, while the Man City team is also a very good side, if the attention of Messi coming didn't swallow that team, I do not expect them to sink facing Man City. But, of course, no two games are the same.
Of course.
You just might go into this game and know Man City for how they can play. The first 15 minutes can just be 2-0 or 3. And that will just be the end of the day. But I expect them to put up a fight, even though I will still favor Man City to
get the job done. All right, Porto AC Milan.
The Porto AC Milan, a few years ago, you give this straight up to AC Milan a few years ago, but it's not the same anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
so I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah.
Because Porto is also not a bad side. I think it's going to be a close game. And it's a game where either side will win at the end of the day.
Porto not a bad side when they're not taking on Liverpool.
Yeah,
and getting thrashed. All right, so, okay, so that's it for the UEFA Champions League. We will definitely come back on the show to give you all of the updates concerning those games. Before we close the show, let's take a look at the papers now. We've got 3 papers, starting with Complete Sports. Big news and great news concerning Samuel Chukwueze. I can't wait to get started. Feels good to be back from 5-month injury layoff. Injury seems to have slowed his career in recent times, so it's good to see. It's good to see him back, and can't wait to get started. One of Nigeria's highly rated youngsters.
One of Nigeria's highly rated youngsters, but it must be said that there is need to put in a lot of work.
Of course.
Aside coming back from injury, even before the injury, it seems to have dropped in terms of form and delivery.
Yeah.
And I think so it's important. And the team has not been doing badly in his absence. So
no,
a lot of work needs to be put in if he must reclaim his place, both at the club level and probably, too, even in the national team. So because a lot of things that seems to have happened within those 5 months that he's not been there. Don't forget, the Super Eagles is looking forward to the next AFCON in January. Does he have enough time to prove to get a draw that he have a place in that team? At the last AFCON, he was our superstar. He was okay, sort of superstar, but then it was the youngster we're unleashing.
Yeah, the exciting talent, and he did live up a bit.
He did live up.
Yeah.
This should have been the next AFCON where the man in Chukwueze should start showing.
Yeah, but it doesn't look that way, though.
As at this moment,
as that is,
we are far from it.
We're far from it. Anyways, I wish, hopefully, Samuel Chukwueze can hit the ground running and return to the old form that we used to know him with. Southampton, West Ham wants Onuachu in January. That's another interesting transfer speculation concerning Paul Onuachu, who everyone thought was not going to be in Belgium after the summer transfer window.
If he must move to the EPL, he should go to a team that, if they are not contesting for the title, you should at least will not fight against relegation.
Okay, West Ham definitely not fighting relegation, yes, but Southampton. All right, that's a nice, that's a very interesting take on that one. Let's move on from that to Benzema aims to emulate Ronaldo Zidane with Ballon d'Or win. You have to say, with the way this guy is playing,
with the way he's playing, but
he's got to be in contention.
You must understand that if Lewandowski is still playing, Ronaldo is still playing, Messi is still playing, so your numbers is what will tilt it.
Yeah, but his numbers are incredible so far. He started on fire. He's in double
numbers
figures
are incredible.
already.
If he's still dwarfed by those three, there's nothing incredible about it.
Yeah, but as it is right now, it's not being dwarfed by Ronaldo and Messi.
But of course, he's not going to win because of this season that started.
No, of course, yeah.
So
it's part of it.
But it's there. The truth is, without those three players, it probably will be your favorite.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so we'll see. Let's see if Karim Benzema can be another Ballon d'Or winner from Real Madrid. Arsenal 2 versus Crystal Palace. Gunners rescuing points courtesy Alexander Lacazette. There's a story concerning Raheem Sterling as well. City value Sterling at 80 million euros. It looks like it's kind of out of favor with Pep Guardiola, and he's actually reportedly come out to say is open to a move to another club.
With the kind of success Guardiola has enjoyed in his career, it's difficult to always argue when he makes some of these decisions.
Yeah.
But personally, I think selling Sterling would be a very painful one. I'm not a fan of Man City, by the way, but I love the young man. And I think he's one player that brings a different dimension to the City front line. He might not hug the ball like the Grealish, like the De Bruyne, but he's more direct.
Yep.
And I think sometimes when you play against certain opponents, you need players like that. He himself and the Mahrez are probably the most direct front men that City has. And so, but again, Guardiola has made some of these decisions in time past, and then he will make success out of it. And so it's difficult to argue when a man is that successful. Indeed. Until he makes one and he fails.
Yeah.
And then you have examples.
Exactly. All right, so let's move on quickly now to Sporting Life. That's the next paper for review. PSG Leipzig Neymar out, Subat, Newcastle I, Martinez, Emery, and Giroud. Newcastle, they're still searching for a new boss, even though Steve
I think the names they are mentioning are kind of funny.
Yeah.
If you're Newcastle, with the kind of money you have, if you're mentioning Lampard and Gerrard, I'm not sure anything has changed. Honestly. Yeah. I think they should be doing everything they can to get the likes of Conte or even buy out the contract of some of the big coaches.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I mean, that's easier said than done, but they have the money to do that.
They have the money.
So why not go all out?
Go all out.
Indeed. Last paper for review, Sports and Son. Osimhen linked with Newcastle move. Of course, Newcastle.
Okay, you should wait 2 seasons. Let's see what they can do. Not now.
And the Kanye says he's better than Lukaku as well. That's the Kanye says Osimhen is better than Lukaku.
I think he has the potential to be better.
But not at the moment. Yeah. I think that's perfectly sums it up. Conte rejects Newcastle United job. There you go. Your answer for you. But I imagine maybe they go again next season. He'll be ready to take over that side. Neymar ruled out of PSG clash. Ndidi out. He will be in. That's the 2022 World Cup qualifiers. For Nigeria, I want to thank you for your time once again. Appreciate all of your analysis.
Yeah, again, pleasure being here.
Thank you all for watching as well. Enjoy the rest of your day. Join us tomorrow if you can. I am Tayo Salam.